All right, let's get going. Hi everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening for our third women's football webinar of the year so far. So my name's James. I'm the sports development manager for Barnet Southgate College. We have Jenna, who's our head coach and the WSL Academy administrator as well for Tottenham, and a former illustrious player with Tottenham Hotspur Women's Football Club in her own right. Just to run through with you, we'll be each delivering a little presentation. Jenna about the football, myself about the college more widely, and then we hopefully shouldn't take longer than sort of half an hour, 40 minutes with those presentations, and then you can ask any questions, and we'll answer any questions that you may have on the program. You can ask your questions by popping them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. Pop your questions in there, and we'll look to try and answer as many as we can, if not all of them. And hopefully we'll be done and dusted within the hour, and you'll feel well informed about the program. So without further ado, I'll throw to Jenna, and she can share her presentation first, and I'll see you shortly.
Thank you, James. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. So as James just mentioned, I'm going to run through and give you a bit of background history on Tottenham Women, the Barnet Southgate programme, and the pathway that we now have in place on our women's side. Hopefully you can all see my screen. Okay, so I'm going to start from the top with the first team, just to give you a bit of background. So Tottenham Women have been around for around about 30 years now, but have only recently come together with Tottenham actual club to join in as one club. So we haven't always had a pathway like we have today. So at the minute, it's a really, really exciting time to be involved in Tottenham, in the club, in the college programme, academy and first team. So outside of our women's first team, we have our WSL Academy, which sits just beneath the first team. It's a new academy. We're only in our first season. Our women's team have recently become a professional team. So we've been grassroots, we've come up the leagues to semi-professional, and 2 seasons ago we won promotion to the WSL to be a professional full-time club, and with that comes the WSL Academy. So our academy is open for players from between 16 to 21 years old, and as I mentioned before, it sits directly under the first team. So the aim of our academy is to produce players who are fit for our first team. It's a 50-50 dual career balance. So our players will be either at school, in the later years of their school, university, college, or in full-time employment. And they'll balance the football and their work, studying or work life around that. Within the academy, they're fully supported. They have private medical insurance. We have physio, strength and conditioning. We use our gym, which is at Barnet Southgate, the NFL gym, which is one of the best gyms in the country in terms of facilities. We have our matches on Wednesday afternoons. As I mentioned earlier, players must be in either full-time education, full-time employment, or an apprenticeship. The last comment about the 64 UCAS points, I will come on to that a bit later. So the WSL Academy is a step above our college team. So our college team, which we call our under-19s team, is there to bridge the gap from being a 16-year-old playing in the academy to joining the academy, because it's very, very difficult for players to get into academy teams. The reason for that, there's only 11 WSL Academy teams in the country. And the squads are capped at around 23 players. So places are very, very limited. So our under-19s team that we have in place with our college at Barnet Southgate is there to prepare players. And if we see potential there, we will push them forward, because we have very strong connections now that are all in place for that pathway to clearly be open. Our pathway starts at and under 10s now. So it's emerging talent centre, and it goes right up to our first team, which the average age is around about 25 years old. So we now have this pathway in place that we could have a player at 10 years old and she could be a Tottenham Hotspur player from the age of 10 up until the first team. And that's the aim. And everything now is in a really positive place for that to happen. The academy lead coach is Laura Kaminski. Now, she has been in and around Tottenham women for 3 years now. She's also, when she's not coaching at the academy, she is in with the first team. So you'll often see her on a Sunday with the first team. A really experienced coach, UEFA A licence qualified. She's also a PGCE qualified teacher. She's been a reserve team manager for Tottenham for three seasons, England under-19 assistant coach, and you can see that her previous roles are with the FA, England, talent identification, QPR, Brighton and Hove, Chelsea and West Ham. So she's a really, really experienced coach. And again, she's got that good connection in the sense that she's working with the first team. So she, her main job is to push her players to become first team players. And we've recently got an example of that in a player called Esther Morgan. I'm not sure how many of you actually follow the first team. She signed for our academy at the start of this season. She was then put into the first team squad. She was part of the squad for around about 2 months, and she's just recently played 4 back-to-back matches for the first team. So she's actually on first choice in her position now. So it proves that our pathway is working, and if you're good enough, it can happen. I also work as well as being a head coach on our college program, I work very closely with Laura as well. So if I see a player on our program who I think could potentially become an academy player, me and Laura work really closely. So again, that's where that link is there into the academy. Here's just to give you a little briefing of an academy schedule and how our girls look at the minute. They're only recently got back to full-time training under elite protocols. So they've been able to train since January. They've actually got their first match, competitive league match since lockdown against Reading next week. So they'll be in the gym, as I mentioned, at Barnet and Southgate on Monday evenings. We also open this session up in a non-COVID well to our college players. So we're hoping once everything's back to normal, we can again then push our stronger college players to attend these gym sessions on Monday evenings, because it will only strengthen them, make them stronger players. And the way the women's game is going, strength and conditioning is a massive, massive part of the game. Tuesdays, we're on the grass, so 5 to 7 session. Wednesday, as I mentioned, is match day. They play all other academy teams. You could be playing up in Manchester United, Manchester City, or playing West Ham or Arsenal down the road. Thursdays is a recovery session, and Saturdays they're in again in the morning. Fridays and Sundays are the girls' rest days. In the academy, they're also have a lot of support in and around them. One of the supports that we have in place is the TAS Performance Centre. So this takes place on Monday at the, we base this in the gym. So they'll do their strength and conditioning with a coach from King's College University. We have performance clinics, we have workshops that fit in and around the girls. So they're really based around issues that will affect the girls in their day-to-day life. So nutritional planning, lifestyle planning, psychology. They've got the gym facilities there. We have physio clinics and biomechanics screening, sorry, not screaming. Diploma in Sporting Excellence is another tool we have available. This is mainly for our younger academy players, so from 16 to 18. I am the lead for this for our academy players, so I'm really heavily involved in this program. At the end of the program, it's a 2-year running course, and the students, if successful, they'll come away with 64 UCAS points that they can put towards their university applications. They have modules every other week. We run these on Thursday evenings. At the minute, it's all been on Teams because of the current climate, but we're hoping next year it'll be a bit more face-to-face. We have staff from Tottenham Hotspur Club who lead on our sessions. We've got someone from the college leading a finance workshop for them this Thursday. So again, we tailor the workshops on this program to help the players. So for example, our lifestyle workshop during lockdown, we tailored it to the players being at home, trying to balance their studying, as well as being stuck indoors all day, and just making sure that they're planning their days and eating the right things so they're ready when it comes to training, and they're also getting their work done. Here we've just got a few of our case studies from our successful WSL Academy students. So as I mentioned earlier, Esther Morgan, who recently was selected into the squad just in January, and as I said, she's made four back-to-back games. So she started the last 4 games and potentially is going to start this Saturday at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Arsenal, which is massive. I think she's actually 18 years old, Esther. So she's a real success story for our academy. Alicia, she signed a full-time professional contract this season, has just recently gone out on loan. Amy Martin, our goalkeeper in the academy, she's now in the first team bubble. She's been training with them. Sophia and Rene, who you can also see in this picture, they made their first team debuts last year. Rene, the player in the middle, she's also a product of our Barnet and Southgate College. So she has been at the college, she's studied, she's got her courses, she's got her qualifications, and she was highlighted as a player with real potential, and she's now in the WSL Academy. So now a bit on our Barnet and Southgate College programme, which is why you're all here. So as I mentioned earlier, the main aim of this is to help bridge the gap into the WSL Academy. So it's for players 16 plus. It's led by myself, and I have a really close connection, as I mentioned earlier, with the WSL Academy, and being a past player, I have a good relationship with the players in and around and the staff in the first team as well. We train on Tuesday and Friday afternoons at Coles Park, which is on White Hart Lane. And on Wednesday, we play our matches. We're in the NFYL league, so our matches, it's a I think it's the strongest league, college league. Every game's an absolute battle. The standard's really, really high. We have travel put on from each of our campuses to each training session. We also put travel back to the campus, but I think a lot of our students after training, they tend to make their own way home after that. If we don't have a fixture on a Wednesday, we'll always have a training session. So you're getting 3 solid training sessions with us, with Tottenham Hotspur staff. So it's a great setup. It's a great facility. It's easy, accessible. And we've got all the equipment, all the coaching staff down there. So it's a perfect venue. As well as the football side of it, we also have a program called Coaching Excellence Scheme. So this is where players involved in our under-19s program who show strong characteristics of being maybe a top potential coach. If they have an interest in coaching, we will identify them as candidates for this, and they will learn on the job. So they'll shadow the coaches down at the training at Coles Park. They'll learn from the coaches, and then at the end of their college, once their time's up at college, the idea is that we then employ them as a Tottenham Hotspur employee, and they then work on the college programs. And this has been really successful so far. We've got a number of our students currently on it. My assistant coach, Sabrina, she's actually a product of this scheme. So she was a footballer on the under-19s program. However, she finished her qualification at college. Football wasn't for her, and she's carried on with her coaching, and now she's employed by Tottenham, and she's you'll all meet her down at the trial day. She's there every training session now. So it's a really good scheme. If at the end of it you think that football's not for you, you also have that option to go the coaching way. Under-9, so the under-19 squad is only made up of Barnet and Southgate students, and we really encourage our Tottenham under-16s to join our under-19 squad, because it's the only way that you will be able to continue playing for Tottenham. So now that our pathway's in place, we will work really, really hard into making this pathway a real success, so that our under-16s will join our under-19s. Our stronger students will then go on to the WSL Academy, then into the first team. We do have a number of successful stories where this has happened. So we've got, if you follow Tottenham Hotspur women, you'll know players such as Jessica Naz and Lucia Leon. They've both been Barnet and Southgate students, and they're now first team players. Jessica Naz also represents her country. She's just back from an ACL injury, and Lucia is actually out on loan in Spain at the moment. With our college program, you'll play your matches on Wednesday. So we really encourage that you do play football elsewhere at the weekend, because that will only make you a stronger player, and you'll have a lot more to give to our team and to make that team stronger as well. So we're absolutely fine with you playing football outside of college, and we'll balance that with your training so you're not overdoing it. And obviously we don't want to get any players injured, so we'll balance your load so that you can balance both. So just finally, just a bit on myself. So I've been involved with Tottenham Hotspur Women for 13 seasons. I've been the club captain for the last 9 seasons. So I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen where it started and what a fantastic place the club is in at the moment. Been through 3 promotions from grassroots to the professional level and won 8 trophies. And I recently retired in July, and since then I've taken on the role as head coach, and I've got to say I've absolutely loved it. The girls are fantastic, and there's just a real buzz around the women's game at the minute, and especially Tottenham and everything that comes to it. So I'm loving every second of it, and I've got a few aims I want to share with you. So my main aim is to develop you guys to reach your potential, to prepare you for WSL the best I can, so that if you do get the call up, you're ready and you know what to expect. Or life after college, be it with Spurs or elsewhere. And my main dream would be to see a college player playing first team football. It's also to build the best college program, and for this program to be the first choice for players, and basically just to share everything that I've learned over my years of playing football, the knowledge and experience, and pass it on to my students now to give them the best opportunities and help them any way I can to develop and become the best they can be on and off the pitch. That is all from me on my side. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in the box and we'll come back to them at the end. So I'll just pass you back over to James. Just come out of this.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you. Great. No I will now share my screen, guys. Bear with me. So hopefully you can see that, and I'll put it on presentation mode. So if that's gone well, so Jenna's given you a big overview of the football partnership there with Tottenham Hotspur Women and the pathway more specifically. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the college, about the courses you can do alongside the football programme, about the college more widely in terms of its sports traditions. I'll touch a little bit on the current girls football programme, but Jenna's covered it all in a lot of detail. So that's, if you come across BSC Bears, that's essentially the emblem for the BSC sports department. So we don't really buy into it too much in the football programs because of that brand association with Tottenham Hotspur, but BSC Bears is like that American collegiate feel that encompasses all of our sports academies under that one umbrella. But just so you don't get confused if you see that brand scattered about. So who are we? So BSC is the sports department for Barnet and Southgate College. We are certainly one of, if not the largest sports departments in London, and certainly one of the, if not the largest sports departments in the UK. And we're definitely up there with being one of, if not the most successful sports departments in further education. How do we define that success? That's based on the volume of learners we have associated with sport, either academically studying it or student athletes, the volume of programs and sports provision we have through the academies, or the success of our sports student athletes, both in the teams, in their various leagues, cups, etc., but also the individuals. So Jen has alluded to a few there. We're very well accustomed and have a long pedigree of producing and developing talent into further echelons of their sport, by whether that's higher education, professional arena, or American scholarships, for example. And there's one example just there in the photo on the screen there with Sophie McLean, who came through the women's football program at the college into the first team, played WSL last season alongside Jenna. Now she's at London Bees, having transferred. So in terms of the current academies, we have sports academies. We have two programs, Tottenham Hotspur, a male and a female. We have the NFL Academy. We have the athletics program, which operates out of Lee Valley with the Imperium Sport. An England Boxing Academy, the Women's Tennis Scholarship Academy, scholarship package, Basketball Academy, and a leadership program for those students who study sport but aren't in one of the affiliated academies. You don't have to study sport to be on an academy, but the majority are either studying a sports department qualification or an A-level study package. So I'll come on to those in a little bit. In terms of the delivery site, so the college, as a college, we're spread across North London. So we have the Southgate campus in Southgate, Enfield, the Wood Street campus in High Barnet, and the Colindale campus over in the west of Barnet. And we've also got an Edmonton Green campus, but that's specifically for ESOL. What you study dictates what campus you're based at. Like I said, the majority of the students, certainly on the women's football program in the sports academies, will be based at either the Southgate campus or the Wood Street campus. The Southgate campus is the predominant base for sports. So this is where I'm based. This is where the coaches would report into, and where all sports academics are delivered, and where the gym facilities are. The Wood Street campus is, for example, where A-levels is based, or the business department is based. So, but we do transport students between the campuses as well. And when I say the sports department, that encompasses both my side of the department, the non-academic side of the department, but also the teaching side of the department also. So what do you do when you come here? So you're on something called a study program. So if you were to come to Barnet Southgate, enroll onto a course and be on the Women's Football Academy, you would be on a study program that included a combination of these ingredients within it. So it would be your main qualification, whether that's A-levels, whether that's BTEC Sport, level 3 extended, or business, whatever it might be. That's your main qual, that's your biggest component of your study program. And then you have the high quality coaching through the partnership with Tottenham Hotspur Women, with Jenna. So she's mentioned at least 2 training sessions a week, plus a games program, 3 if there's no game that particular week. And then with additional opportunities to get even more training with the WSL if you're one of the better quality players. Then you have some work experience built into your course, depending on which course you do. There's also English and maths, and if you haven't achieved a grade 4 within your GCSEs, and then your tutorial pastoral package program. So all those component parts, they form your study program whilst you're at the college Monday to Friday in term time, and also with the football, some out of term time through training and pre-season and so forth. We partner with the industry leading bodies to deliver these sports academies. So I'll come on to a page in a minute with some of the brands that we're associated with, and we operate and utilise some really high caliber facilities to deliver them. So Coles Park is a really good venue for our football program, and we use a lot of others for some of our other sports provision. And what I say is a really strength of coming to the college and being on our programs is the staff. So both with our partners, so Jenna's giving you a rundown of her CV and her experience, and we work closely also with Laura, as she's mentioned, but also Chris Gould, who's the talent pathway manager, and all the expertise that those football staff and the Tottenham Hotspur side bring but then also in the college. So a lot of us within the college are very experienced, have been in the industry a long, long time, have worked at quite high levels, and we're bringing it back into what we do at the college. And a lot of us actually work in the industry alongside our main job at the college. So I myself work for the Premier League, working with youth academies, and recently with COVID, working for the last 9 months with first teams, particularly Arsenal and Tottenham, with the players in the men's first teams there. Then we have currently practicing semi-professional coaches, level 5 personal trainers, sports rehabilitation specialists, physiotherapists. So Jack Dimitriou, who's one of the teachers and heads up our physio clinic at the college, is the current England under-23 C team physiotherapist. And all these range of expertise and many others come, and that underpinning knowledge is brought back into the college to try and do our best with our programs and be as innovative as we can and produce as much quality as we can for the student experience. So when you come to the college, we're preparing you for one of these things, really. Essentially, you're coming to the college and coming to the women's football program to progress yourself, develop your knowledge, develop your skills, both in academia, preparing you for work, also in football, of course, as well. Ultimately, you're here to get your qualification and move on to the next level. So whether that's university in the UK or in the States, it could be into employment, it could be into professional sport, hopefully for some of you. And we're also hopefully looking to develop those life skills with you, so those behaviours that will help you become an independent and responsible adult and professional in the future. So these are some of the partners that we work with. So all the academy programs function in a similar way about embedding those training and games programs into your Monday to Friday college provision. Each one differs depending on how they operate, depending on whether there's a games program or how we build the program. But Jenna's already gone into how the women's football program operates. So the women's football program is in its 10th year now with the college, with Tottenham Hotspur and Barnet Southgate College. It has been a hugely successful program. Jenna's already gone a little bit into the history of Tottenham Hotspur as a football club, and because of that history and where it started from, the college program was for a long time. This college program was for a long time the de facto youth team for the women's senior side. So Jenna's mentioned some of the names there that have progressed on to the first team in recent times. There's been in the region, I think it's 10 or 11 girls have gone from our college program into the first team in the last 10 years, which is a pretty high success rate. Some are still there, as has been mentioned, and hopefully there's more to come. You know, so Renee going from our program into WSL at the moment made her first team debut. Hopefully she can kick on and become a regular in the first team. And I share what Jenna said, and I'd love to see many more go that route, go from the college program for a couple of years, go into the WSL Academy, and then push on into the first team. That's what drives me in terms of these programs. We want to see sporting student success. That's just the last 4 years I've listed there. I could have gone into 3 or 4 slides about the team successes, but they've produced many regional championships, many national medalists, silver, bronze. Disappointed we've not had a gold yet, to be honest, because talent-wise we've definitely been up there. England call-ups, England colleges call-ups, and national titles, league titles, etc. That's just the last 4 years. So although they're not the main goal, team titles, because as we said, we prefer to make sure that every individual develops, they're nonetheless indicative of the pedigree of the program over the last few years. So there's a history, de facto youth team. We've also had 5 US NCAA scholarships in that time, and if that's a route that any of you wanted to go, that's something we're very quick to help to try to do for you. Particularly with the relationship with the NFL Academy, we've got good connections into the NCAA as an organisation. It's a very difficult route to take in terms of it's very complicated, but we can hopefully help you achieve that. Alongside those players into the first team, a number of players, dozens, have gone into the development squads at Spurs down the years and at other clubs as well. So as Jenna's mentioned, we would definitely still encourage you to play senior football at the weekends, and we'd manage that timetable if you wanted to, and if you had something already set up, and if you wanted something, we would help to set that up for you. And there's many different ways to get into higher levels of football. Jenna's already spoken about the Coach Education Centre, and clearly I've said a new future. So where we sit within the pathway now with the development of the WSL Academy, I agree with what's been said. It's a really exciting time. It's a sort of culmination of the last year of planning that Jenna, Chris and I have sort of worked on in terms of where the vision sits and how that's going to evolve for young girls who are interested in studying and being part of the football programme in the future. So this is just a little bit about how the curriculum develops at the college. I won't dwell into that. You can check out the other open days that the college held recently. They're all recorded on the website for individual specific subject choice areas. But I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what courses you can study alongside the women's football programme. Now, officially, I can say you can study anything. So while we wouldn't close off with TAS College, we do support dual career and not pigeonholing you to study one particular area. That being said, nearly all the girls will fit into either a sports department course or an A-level course package. And that means that your timetable will allow you to access the full range of the full program. If you deviate from that and try to choose something else, maybe I think some girls might choose. We've had some players choose childcare, for example. There is a chance that it could conflict with some of the training. But we would try to make it work if you were adamant you wanted to go in this area. And we're definitely working with the business department to try and open that out a little bit for BTEC business. But in particular, sports department qualifications. So in the BTECs, we offer the level 1, the level 2, the level 3, and the level 3 extended diploma. Now, the lowest qualification is the level 1. So that's a 1-year course with an entry requirement of 2 GCSEs of any grades to get into. If you start at that, you do that for a year and move up to the level 2. So where you start actually is dictated by what GCSEs you're awarded or what grades you've got coming into us. So you could start at the level 3 extended diploma if you wanted to do that, which is the highest qual we offer, or you could start at the level 1 or anything in between. But the level 1, 1 year, move up. The level 2 BTEC is a 1-year qualification also, 4 GCSEs, grades 9 to 3, entry requirements. Again, if you start there, do that for a year, hopefully move up then to a level 3. In terms of the level 3, we've either got the National Diploma level 3 or the National Extended Diploma. So they're both level 3 qualifications. The Extended Diploma is worth the equivalent of 3 A levels. The level 3 diploma is worth the equivalent of 2 A levels. So they're both level 3s, but you do more modules on the Extended Diploma, hence why it's worth more UCAS points. Okay. The level 3 requires 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4 to get onto, and the level 3 extended is 6 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4 to get onto, including Maths and English. I don't think it's on this presentation, but we've also got a new course launching in sports as an academic offer called the level 3 extended diploma in esports. So if there's anyone interested in learning about esports, that's an offer that's on the website also. There's also these vocational courses within the sports department. The level 2 MVQ certificate in activity, leadership and coaching. That's a much more practical course. That's about learning to become a coach, going into schools, going to community events, delivering, building up a portfolio of work and experience, and then learning the underpinning knowledge at the college. That's 4 GCSEs, grade 9 to 3 entry requirement. We also have the level 2 and the level 3 YMCA certificates in personal training and gym instruction. So they are industry specific qualifications and great if you know that you want to go down the route of becoming a personal trainer or gym manager. You have to start at level 2. You can't go straight on to level 3, regardless of what grades you get in GCSEs with the YMCAs, because it's an industry specific qual. So you have to have that level 2 knowledge first. So the entry requirement for the level 2 YMCA is the same as the level 3 diploma in sport, which is 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4, including Maths and English in this case. But if they're both 1-year quals, so if you start on the YMCA level 2, you can move up to the level 3 in your second year, and then you are a fully qualified personal trainer after 2 years. Can go and launch your own business as a personal trainer, work with athletes, work with clients, become a gym manager, etc. What I would say about these courses, if you want to go to university or want to have that as an option, these are not the courses for you. You need to go down the BTEC route or the A-level route. These won't get you into university. What I should also mention is that some students, particularly in the women's football, it's happened, Sabrina being one of them, who Jenna's talked about earlier. Some students come and do the level 3 or the level 3 extended diploma BTEC, do that for 2 years, get that qual, decide they don't want to go to university or they're not ready to get a job yet, and they're still funded for a further year. So they then do a YMCA for a 3rd year, and they're leaving with 2 qualifications because they want those extra quals, but they also want to stay on the football programme. In terms of the A-level department, we have a really strong range of A-levels to choose from. Not many schools will offer the amount of A-levels that we offer, and we do offer PE as an A-level also, if you wanted to go down this route. There's a list there of all the A-levels that we do offer, and you can go on the website, so the college website, to look at the full range. There's not many we don't offer. The only ones we don't offer is modern foreign languages, French, German, Spanish, etc., and geography. Other than that, pretty much everything we do offer. Entry requirements for the A-level department is 6 GCSEs grades 9 to 4, including maths and English, and they generally like 6s in the subjects that you want to choose. Although if you want to choose PE and your school didn't offer it as a GCSE, don't worry, they'll look at your science grades, and we can be flexible. If you are, some of you, I'm not sure your profiles on the call, but if some of you are already halfway through an A-level at another institution, you can potentially swap and do year 2 with us. We just have to look at your awarding bodies and what modules you'd studied. So Jenna's already talked about TAS. I think it's worth mentioning also that we're a TAS dual career accredited institute. So it stands for the Talent Athlete Scholarship Scheme. We were the first college in the country to have this status, and still one of the only colleges in London and South East to have it. And essentially, it's a marker of excellence to say that if you're a talented athlete in your sport, age 16 to 24, and in education, you should look to come to this institute, i.e. us, because we have a talented athlete policy, we have the staff and the expertise and the philosophies to try and make sure that your sporting and your education success are aligned, and that you don't find one's interfering with the other. Jess Naz, who's in the first team, had to, while she was with us in our college program and with us, she had to go away with England under 19 Lionesses regularly. Not a problem. Authorised absences. Here's some work to do when you're out there. Come back. How are you getting on? Catch up with this. Catch up with that, etc., etc. Deliver online. All those kind of flexible approaches to learning. We also provide additional support workshops through TAS, through the work with King's College that links come about with Tottenham Hotspur, so and others. So we've had UK anti-doping workshops, nutrition, psychology workshops. So if you're a national or international level athlete in any sport, and it doesn't have to be in our academies either, you could be a TAS athlete at the college. We have a physiotherapy clinic at the college, so any injuries are available to be treated, and certainly on the women's football programme we have physios for all the home games, but if you are injured and you can't train, you're expected to go to clinic and get treatment. We also have 2 gyms at the college. We have the original gym, which is free entry for you student athletes, when you can have your programmes written for you by Emily and go and do some training when you've not got lessons or field practice or pitch practice, team practice, I should say. I'm spending too much time with the NFL Academy. They call it field practice. But when you've not got team training or lessons, you can go and access the gym anytime it's open and deliver and work on your S&C. Obviously, at the moment it's closed because of COVID, but it will be reopening after Easter. And as Jenna's spoken about already, we do provide transport to and from training and matches for the students on this programme. So the Wood Street students and A-levels, they're picked up, brought to Southgate bus to Coles Park. The only thing is the home games on a Wednesday afternoon, we don't tend to put on transport for students because it's meet straight at Coles Park kind of thing. But for away games, yes. Just finally, what do we expect from you? Boils down to 4 things, essentially. Turn up on time, apply yourself, and meet your coursework deadlines. There's a lot of time, effort, money, attention put into these academy programs, and there's a lot of focus on them as a result. And if you are not doing what you need to be doing in the classroom, then we have a problem with your sport. And as the next slide shows, academics come first. You know, you're here to get your qualification. If you're not doing what you need to do in the classroom, you will be withdrawn from fixtures in the first instance. Then you might have to be in class on a Wednesday to do some catch-up work. If it doesn't really matter if you're the best player on the program or the worst player, the rules still apply. And if you're lucky enough to be given that opportunity to go and train with the WSL Academy, but you're not doing what you need to be doing in the classroom, that opportunity will be taken away until you sort of fix up and sort yourself out with the classroom stuff. Because if you don't achieve in your academics, then that everything falls down as a result. And particularly in the sport of American football with the NFL Academy, and if you have ambitions to go to the States on a scholarship, that is crucial, because they do not accept you if your education is not up to par. Their GPA, as they call it, to get into a top school, top college in the States, education comes first. It doesn't matter if you're the best player, best athlete in the world. If your education's not there, you won't get that. And that's it from me. So we shall move. Before I do move on to the questions, I think I'll just highlight, if you do have any questions that you don't want to ask in this forum, and you'd rather email me, my email address is on the screen now. I think probably Nick will put it in the chat as well. There's also the Sports Trials inbox, but you can email me direct. And we also have some social media accounts that you might want to follow to keep abreast of stuff that's going on with the college and with the sports department of the college. But yes, if I leave it up there just a second, and then I'll come in to stop sharing. And if Jenna joins me with her camera again, we'll look at the questions. Okay, so we have a question. Do you provide house share or accommodation near the college? That's a really good question. I didn't touch on it too much in this one. I do talk about it a lot in the NFL Academy talk I did last night. So we don't necessarily directly provide it, but we have had quite a number of girls come from all parts of the country to the women's football program in the past. And as this sort of new future develops, I do expect girls in the years to come maybe wanting to relocate to be part of the program. We work with the NFL Academy as well. We recruit boys from all over Europe. So we have some Danish, some French, some German, Swedish, Polish, Belgium, Italian boys in the NFL Academy this year, as well as from all over the UK. I think there's around 20 to 30 of the 85-man squad are homestay students. So how we do it is we work with British Council registered homestay providers to facilitate host families. So you would come and live with a host family that the British Council registered homestay company have facilitated for you to live with. The price of those varies, so it depends what zone of London you want to be in. If you want to be in zone 1, it's more expensive than being in zone 6, for example, but you probably wouldn't want to be in zone 1, considering that the college campuses are zone 5, so you probably would want to be closer to the college campus. It also depends on what level of board you would want. So did you want half board, bed and breakfast, self-catering, etc., etc. But they start from around, an average price might be somewhere between 160 to 190 pounds per week for host family. But the girls in the past, if you wanted us to help you and put you in contact with these host families, we can do, with this company, sorry, they can do. But some girls in the past have just facilitated it themselves, or they've had family living more local, distant family living more local. The reason we work with British Council registered companies is because of that level of quality in terms of the safeguarding. They've got good policies, stringent policies. There's regular checks on the accommodation. DBS checks on the host families themselves, regular feedback to really make sure that the students that they place into these host families are safe and happy and taken care of. So okay, if there's any other questions, guys, please by all means put them in the Q&A. Doesn't look like there's many more to come so far. What I will say is you've all been emailed by, well, sorry, if you've applied for the program, it's because some of you I know have just signed up to this talk without necessarily applying, but if you've applied for the program, and if you haven't, please go onto the college website and apply. But if you have already, don't do it again. But if you haven't done it so far, go onto the college website and register for the women's football program. We have a trial and practical day next Wednesday afternoon. Time I can't remember. I think it's 2. Is it 2 o'clock, Jenna? Off the top of my head. Yeah. So which we would invite you all to come down to. So now that the national restrictions have moved on, we know we're allowed to host these trials for next Wednesday. So we're having 2 over the next 2 weeks. So we've got ones next Wednesday on the 7th, I think it is. Let me get my dates right a second.
Yes, the 7th, 1:30 arrival till 3:15.
Yeah, next Wednesday, the 7th of April. 1:30 arrival to 2, and then we've also got one the following week. So we'd like everyone to attend both if they can. Although I appreciate if you are in a Hertfordshire school, I think you've got slightly different dates for your half terms. But someone's just pointed out next Wednesday is not the 7th. The first Wednesday of the Easter holidays, or for London, is the 7th of April. Wednesday, the 7th of April is our first session. I will be, and Jenna will be emailing with all the details for it. It's at Coles Park. And everyone who's signed up to the interested in the program, I will send you that information. Can you do other sports as well as football? You can't. You won't have the time. You have to, alongside your course, you have to specialise in one of the sports. So if you're a footballer, you're a girls footballer. You can change if you change your mind, but you know, once you're in one, you have to stick with that one. On the trial dates, which gate will we enter, Fenton Road or Main? Oh, someone knows the area. I'll put that detail in the email application. It won't be through Fenton Road, I don't think, because they only use that entrance if they've got something on in using the main entrance, but we'll have exclusive access to it, so it will be through the main gates. Abigail asked, is the program strictly for 16 to 19? That's a really good question, particularly as we've alluded to the college program as the under-19s. We allude to it more for clarity in terms of the pathway, but actually no, the league that we compete in is the same age range as the WSL Academy, so 16 to 22. So you can be 19 or 20 or 21 and be on the women's football program, the college football program as well. So it's not strictly 16 to 19, it's just most of the girls are 16 to 19, and where Jen has spoken about the pathway, it's a nice blend there. If you're 16, 18, spend 2-3 years on this college program if you're not quite ready for the level of the WSL, and then there's the chance to move up after that, but you've got longer with the college if you need it. Anything to add on that one, Jenna?
No, I think at the moment we've got student up who's 22, so yeah, which is not strictly to 19 now.
Okay. I think that's all the questions we've had. If I try and think of some other frequently asked ones that generally come up, we've had the homestay. Most people, students ask about kits. So there is training wear that the squad are expected to have. That's through an external company. It's Nike training wear, official replica wear, and we put together a bundle with this company, and it's all badged up and branded, and if you were to be offered a place on the programme and want to join and accept that place, we would send you that information over the summer where you can purchase that kit, and it will be delivered straight to your house, ready for the new season. Then, but if there's also financial support available for some students. So if you are if your parents earn under a certain threshold, you can apply for the Learner Support Fund grant that the college provides as a government grant scheme, which will fund the kit for you for free. So, but that's means tested. You have to provide evidence. I think if your parents are in receipt of certain benefits. There's also other financial support available in that instance called the bursary. So that provides travel financial support for you. And yeah, so there's that. Other frequently asked questions to think about. Some people are curious what leagues we play in. So the women's football first team play in the National Football Youth League, so against other professional football clubs who have a college offer. Chelsea, who else is in the league? Barking, EDFE, Norwich, I think are in the league. Portsmouth, are they in the league? Bournemouth. So yeah, the boys have played in the National Football Youth League for a long time. It's a very well established, very high level of league. The girls, we moved over from the Association of College Sport this year. I think this is the first year. Yes, yeah. COVID, I lose track. But it's dwarfed the AOC now. This is the place to be for the quality of football outside of the WSL academy programs in terms of further education level. But if we have enough girls in the program, so we'd like to cater for that range. So yes, want some aspiring players to push on to WSL, but we also want to cater for girls who just want to get better with their football and enjoy it, and maybe go down the coaching route or do it alongside their course. So we are planning to have a development squad as well who would compete in the Association of College Leagues as well as we'd facilitate other football opportunities alongside that also. So we do cater for a range of levels within our football programs, from the very, very talented elite to the developing player as well. Okay, so if no one else has got any further questions, which doesn't look the case, as I said, I'll send information around the days during Easter. We really, really want to see you there. What I would say is, because in COVID times, we aren't doing things in quite the same way that we often would. Usually at the practical days, we have a talk face-to-face like this and have course applications. If you haven't applied for your academic course yet, I would urge you to go onto the Barnet Southgate College website and to do that. Ideally one of the ones that I mentioned in my section, but if you have your heart set on another area, then go for it. And you can apply for more than one course. You can apply for 10, 20 if you want to. But go into the course, look for 16 to 18-year-olds, look at the various subject areas, pick your course, apply for it, and then you should receive communication from the admissions department, either with a conditional offer or asking you to further elaborate. In this case of A-levels, they'll ask you what subject choices you want to do. In terms of interviews, they'll be done more at enrolment because of COVID and everything like that. So we're changing our procedures slightly. Yeah, so apply for your course. It really doesn't hurt to apply for it now, because it's only an application, and even if you're offered something, it's only an offer. You're very welcome to still consider your other options as well. But it just saves time later. And in the case of A-levels as well, some of the more popular course subjects do start to fill up. But whatever you achieve in your GCSEs, there is a course for you at the college alongside the football program. So don't fear. If you've started a course at college, can you continue at Barnet Southgate College or restart the course? Yes, Danny, you can do either of those options. So it really depends on your circumstance. So it depends what you're studying, where you're studying, everything like that. But yes, I think that's something. If you want to email me your specific situation, and I can get back to you with a more informed answer. But in short, yes, you can, and certainly starting again might be an appealing option for some young students this year because of the year you've had. So and it also gives you more time with the football potentially. Any other questions from anyone before we wrap it up? Looks like that's it. Well, thanks for your time, everyone. Hopefully you found that informative. I will be in touch, and Jenna will be in touch regarding the sessions in Easter holidays, and then we'll run more there off the back of that as well. And yeah, if you have any questions, by all means, email me or email Jenna directly, and we'll hopefully see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.